July 6, 2021, 7 p.m. City of Somerton regular council meeting. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mayor Gerardo Naya.
Present.
Vice Mayor Juan Castillo. Councilmember Carlos Gonzalez.
Present.
Councilmember Jesus Roldan.
Present.
Councilmember Luis Galindo. Councilmember Marta Garcia. Councilmember Miguel Villalpando.
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Okay, moving on, call to the public. Anybody from the public wishing to address council?
I have Scott Awen. Awer.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for allowing us 24/7 Get Pit to be part of this great community for the last 5 years. Let me start with who we are and why we're the perfect fit to continue serving this community.
Please state your address, please.
My home address or the business?
The home address.
3378 West 17th Place, Yuma, Arizona, 85364.
Thank you.
Sure. Jesse, married to a proud Somerton girl, raised his kids here in Somerton. He knows and understands this community. Chris, who manages a franchise gym, knows this business better than any. And I'm the financial expert with a master's in finance from Johns Hopkins University. We started our first location here in Somerton. We chose this great city for many reasons, but mainly for Jesse's love and roots in this community. We can truly attribute all our success to the city of Somerton. So once again, we thank you for that. Due to the success we had here in Somerton, we're able to expand to 3 other locations, San Luis, Foothills, and Yuma. Our knowledge, expertise, and financial know-how helped us achieve this feat in a very short year without having to wait the long, dreadful years that others do. We understand the market better than anyone, and we are very adaptable. We've already expanded twice in Somerton, and we're looking for land to expand for the 3rd time. That's when we learned about this opportunity. Our financial strength is evident. We've built 3 buildings in the last 3+ years, and we started construction in San Luis during the pandemic, when many gyms all over the country were filing for bankruptcy. Our financial know-how and community involvement and understanding helps us be ahead of any competitor. We are family-oriented community business. We understand the demographics and make it easy for everyone to start and continue their fitness journey. We don't only cater for experienced lifters or bodybuilders. Before I tell you our plan, let me tell you our commitment to the community. For example, we know how important the wrestling team is for Somerton. Currently, we have the KOFA Somerton wrestlers working out at our facility here with their coach. We gave them a great plan and they're very happy. We're also proposing to donate all our equipment, well-kept equipment, to the local high school or to whomever the council sees fit. Apologize for that. Here's another example which means a lot to me. When COVID-19 started, we were the first business in Yuma County to close down before any order was in place. We took it upon ourselves to protect our community and our employees. When others refused to close for personal gains, we went and bought hard-to-find items like milk and diapers and handed them for free to people in need at all our locations, members or not. As for our plan, we will continue to provide hands down the most services in Yuma County for very, very affordable prices. We have plans for individuals, couples, and families. Our prices are listed on our website. We never have any hidden fees, and we will never, ever charge members extra to go to our other facilities. This location will be identical to our newest Yuma location. I know many of you are members, and I ask you, please visit. You have 24/7 access and see what a wonderful location this would be. We'll offer kids care to make it easy for families to work out so they can have their kids watch while they work out. We'll have fitness classes such as Zumba and yoga for beginners and advanced throughout the day to fit busy schedules. Did you know that over 70% of families nationwide prefer a gym that offers these exact services? We tailor to everyone and know that many of people don't know where to start. So we give them a free orientation with a certified trainer because we don't want people intimidated. We want them to work out. We want them to feel, because this is good for their health. Every member that starts with us have a good starting workout routine because what we do for them. We will continue to give our apparel for free. We will never nickel and dime our members. We give it for free. We want them to keep as much possible of their hard-earned money in their pocket, to spend it in their community. And we also encourage entrepreneurs to build businesses around us so they can benefit from our foot traffic. We understand and know we're a community and we can only succeed together. We will create 20 to 25 employment jobs. We pay handsomely and we offer opportunities to grow. Somerton has been great to us. So we have decided to start our first convenient and affordable car wash here in Somerton, just like we did 5 years ago with our gym. And if you approve our proposal, we'll start 2 businesses at the same time. We've already given staff preliminary drawings and we're ready to start. I appreciate the opportunity you're letting me speak in front of you today. We are committed to this city and we can proudly say our roots are Somerton strong. We planted our business anchor and we believed in the city on day one. We did not wait for years. We humbly ask you today, 5 years later, to believe in us. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public wishing to address council? I will. Okay. State your name and address, please.
Juan Molina, 1388 North Jennifer Avenue, Somerton, Arizona. I kind of went to school with a lot of you and I worked with one of you. And the only thing I can say is that I really enjoy 24/7. It's convenient for me because it's 24 hours. I mean, I can go at 5 o'clock in the morning or I can go at 1 o'clock in the morning. But one of the things that I really do enjoy about this gym is that it doesn't only cater to the gym rat, but it caters to everybody. It caters to a beginner who's never been in the gym and wants to start something active, to an elderly person who wants to get back towards maintaining their health. And it's really flexible and it's really something that I think will be a benefit to the community because it's something that the community needs. And it's an opportunity for the city of Somerton to grow. And so if you allow this gym to be built here, just imagine the recognition that Somerton is going to get. And imagine the unity that the community is going to have based on this gym. You guys are going to promote healthy, active, and a mentality where it's going to be something where you're going to get stronger both physically, mentally, and emotionally, and that's what a gym represents. So if you guys allow this, I don't have to go to Yuma anymore to go work out. I can work out here now, and I think that's the benefit of a resident that has been here for 15 years now. So I didn't have anything written down. It's just me saying from my heart. So I hope you can consider what I say, and thank you for giving me an opportunity.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public wishing to address council?
Mayor, council, my name is David Padilla. I know we've all met before. I'm the president of United Yuma Firefighters. Like I said before, we represent firefighters across all 3 communities. I wasn't planning on speaking today. Over the last couple of weeks, we've met multiple times with the vast majority of you guys and able to get some great dialogue. But kind of sitting here thinking about it, I think there are some important pieces of information that I think we need to share, both with council and with the public at large. First and foremost is a thank you. Thank you to council. For those of you guys that met with us, the city administrator, we really appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to meet with us, discuss these issues that we're currently encountering with the city of Somerton, with the public safety specifically. And so, without open dialogue with our council members in all of our communities, right, we can't get things done. And so I hope that, what we were able to accomplish in meeting over the last couple of weeks and discussing some of these issues, we establish a relationship that helps, bring issues forward, that helps bring concerns to council. And so that, when we do meet each other in the future, it's not always doom and gloom. It's not us, saying the sky's falling, but rather us finding mutual ground and solutions in which, are mutually beneficial for both the community of Somerton and for, council at large. Overall, we've brought up a ton of pieces of information, and we've been assured multiple times by council that you guys have public safety at heart. I really, truly believe that after having gotten to meet with most of you guys, that you do value public safety in your community. And so today on the agenda, right, we have a big discussion about the upcoming budget, the passing of the budget, and then of course, more specifically, the pay plan for public safety and all of the workers in the city of Somerton. And so whatever we can do to help find solutions in the future, whatever we can do to help you guys find ways to implement a pay plan, keep our firefighters working in Somerton, keep staffing levels at the appropriate level, and ensuring first and foremost that our community is safe and our community has the appropriate resources, we're willing to do. So thank you again for your time, City Administrator, Council, thank you again.
Anybody else from the public wishing to address council? Okay, moving on to consent agenda. There are several items. City Council minutes for May 4th, 2021. Minutes for meeting May 18th, 2021. Minutes for work session June 1st, 2021. Minutes for council meeting June 1st, 2021. And meetings for council meeting June 15th, 2021, and special city council meeting of June 23rd, 2021. Also, there's another item, approval of check register for the month of May, and award to the lowest responsible bidder, Hansberger Refrigeration and Electrical Company, for the Somerton Community Center HVAC renovation project improvements in the amount of $184,550. Does any member of council want to remove an item from consent agenda? Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as stated, Mayor.
There's a motion by Councilman Gonzalez.
Second.
Second by Councilman Roldan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We have 4 items in public hearing. Is there a motion to enter into public hearing?
So move.
So motion by Councilman Gonzalez. Second by Councilwoman Garcia. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So the first item is public hearing related to the proposed rezoning request by Ramon Arias on behalf of Nomar Properties and Pensco Trust for the rezoning of the following properties: 1401 North Somerton Avenue, R16 to R3, 1415 North Somerton Avenue, R16 to R3, 1431 North Somerton Avenue, C2 to R3, 1449 North Somerton Avenue, C2 to R3.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Council. Andrea, could you please open the presentation that's attached to this? Thank you. Mr. Mayor and Council, the item before you is rezoning case PLN 210014. This is a rezoning request by Ramon Arias and Nomar Properties and the Pensco Trust for the rezoning of 4 parcels equating to 2.36 acres in size. The parcels are located at the southwest corner of Madison Street and Somerton Avenue as shown on the map. They are currently zoned, the bottom 2 are 3 single-family residential and the north 2 commercial C2. They are currently vacant, all 4 parcels, except for the southernmost parcel, which has an abandoned house. The intended use is for a multifamily residential apartment complex. During the review stages of the project, staff has received these conceptual renderings and site plans and layouts of the project. This is not what would be approved tonight. This is just to give you an idea of what could be developed on the site. If and when the project moves into the development stage, we will review this kind of thing at the plan review stage. But tonight, it's just the rezoning to allow this. So this is more or less what the applicant has in mind for the site. Just a little bit of additional project information. The project has gone through all the steps. It conducted a neighborhood meeting on June the 4th, and we have had our Planning and Zoning Commission take a look into this project, and they actually voted to recommend that you approve this project. We've received no feedback from the public or from any utility companies or neighboring municipalities regarding the project. So that is a good sign. Next slide. Some things that staff has looked at when analyzing this project are the following factors. The project is in full compliance with our 2020 general plan. It is located on 2 major roads, Somerton Avenue and Madison Street. They're both collector roadways. So that's good. A large high density project should be located along major roads. It is an infill project, meaning the lots are ready. Utilities are available. No new infrastructure is needed for the site. As you know, we recently passed our infill plan. And although this project is not in the boundaries of our infill overlay, it's exactly the kind of development that we want to see in Somerton. Utilities, as I just mentioned, are readily available. And I'm sure you know that there's a housing scarcity, not just in Somerton, but in nationwide. So this project could potentially bring dozens of residential units to Somerton. One big factor too is that it is a market rate apartment complex. It is not a low income project. The applicant is not proposing a public housing or low income project. This is a luxury apartment complex. And it would actually be the first market rate apartment complex built in Yuma County in the last 30 years. Another big one too is the recommendation approval from the Planning and Zoning Commission last month. So staff recommendation for this rezoning is for approval with conditions. And I have the conditions listed in the next exhibit if the council would like me to go through them.
Yes, go ahead.
Could you go to the next slide? So the conditions of approval for this rezoning are: number 1, all future development shall comply with all applicable codes at the municipal, state, and federal level. Number 2, the owner shall be responsible for verifying utility availability, negotiating any access issues with adjacent properties, and resolving any underlying matters not revealed during the due diligence period. Number 3, the developer shall comply with the development standards and use regulations of the Somerton Subdivision Ordinance and Somerton Zoning Ordinance. Number 4, the developer shall upgrade and improve any multi-use pathway along Somerton roadways adjacent to the apartment complex as required by adopted City of Somerton pathway standards. Number 5, developer shall apply for and successfully complete the lot tie of APN 74338 148, or actually 1431 North Somerton Avenue and 1449 North Somerton Avenue into a single parcel prior to applying for a building permit. Number 6, developer shall apply for and successfully complete the lot tie of 1401 North Somerton Avenue and 1415 North Somerton Avenue into a single parcel prior to applying for a building permit, or arrange layout on 2 lots following all required development standards of the Somerton zoning ordinance Each development on each lot shall be independent of each other and shall not share services, amenities, recreation, parking, open space with adjacent property. Number 7, developers shall demolish the abandoned house located at 1401 North Somerton Avenue and clear all 4 parcels of debris and trash within 180 days after the approval of the rezoning by the Somerton City Council. Number 8, the developer shall maintain the properties clean and free of trash, weeds, and garbage until and during the construction of the apartment complex. Number 9, the developer shall submit to the City of Somerton for review a complete building permit submittal package and improvement plans within 1 calendar year from the date of approval of the rezoning request by the City of Somerton Council. Does the council have any questions on any of the mentioned conditions?
Any questions, comments? Councilman Villalpando.
Thank you, Mayor. What about traffic flow? Are you guys requiring any type of traffic study or anything like that? Because the way I see it is it's going to be one way in, one way out in those particular areas. And it's going to be awfully close to the corner right there on, what is it? You said Madison, right?
Madison and yes.
And Somerton Avenue. And also, are we going to require improvements? There has been some accidents there in the corner of County 15 and Somerton Avenue. So what type of improvements are you guys looking into that?
Council Member Villalpando, all of that we will carefully look at when we are at the plan review stage for the project. The access, as proposed in the site plan that you saw, just has, as you mentioned, access off of Monroe Place. So that would be 1 access and 1 exit. But we will look at that very carefully once we're actually reviewing the building layout. We don't know how many units are going to go in. It could be 20, it could be 10. But just depending on the density, we might require a traffic impact study. I don't think so, just because it's 2.36 acres. There is a maximum density that our zoning ordinance identifies, but we will look at all these possible issues more in depth at the plan review stage for the project. Tonight, we have not considered that because we don't have a formal site plan to review.
And see, and for me, I guess that's the biggest problem, the biggest issue is that here we're asked to go R3, but we don't know exactly how many units or what's actually going to be put in there and the impact that it might have on traffic. But once we do it, then they have the right to build it. And so you could ask them to do certain things, and sure, realistically, they only have to comply with the code, whatever is required. So again, without some form of assurances, it's difficult for me to say, hey, yes, it's a good idea. Yes, could we use more apartments, especially market rate? Yes. So I think it's a project that is worth exploring, but we also have to be very careful since it is at an intersection. I just have a hard time with one point of entry into those 2 lots. Hopefully you guys are able to figure it out, but you guys are more knowledgeable in that area than I am, but driveways have to be a certain distance away from the corners. And so all I could say is good luck, but I mean, I would hope that you guys do some type of traffic analysis before we jump any further.
Councilmember Villalpando, well, thank you for your feedback, and we will certainly analyze this very carefully because you are right. It's a unique location. Although it is right on the corner, the proposed layout does only show the exit off of Monroe. But we will work very carefully with the applicant, and also the conditions listed ensures that they will have to follow through on any requirements that the city may have for the project when it advances to the plan review stage. Our zoning ordinance is very very adequate to handle a project like that. We have in place density maximums, parking minimums, open space minimums, buffer requirements. So all these factors come into play. So it's not just having that condition that they have to comply with all our ordinances gives us some room to ensure that it's a very adequate use and an adequate development for that location and for a parcel of that size. But I appreciate the feedback.
So what triggers in our ordinance a traffic study? Is it trips? You mentioned density. So what's the density that it triggers a traffic study? And you don't have to answer if you don't have it memorized. You can email us later, but that's a question.
So, Mr. Mayor, yes, some uses it is codified that it does require a mandatory traffic study. I don't remember off the top of my head at what density a traffic impact study or at what number of units it is triggered. But if I had to take a guess just off the top of my head, I don't think a project of this size would be required. But we will review it in depth, and I'll work with the engineering public works department to determine that.
Thanks. Any other questions or comments? Do we need to enter and exit each public hearing or just one?
One public hearing for all,
Okay.
Mayor, but there is a motion to approve the rezoning case.
But that's after the public hearing. Yes, after the public hearing, we'll go to it. Anybody from the public wishing to comment on this item? Okay, so we're gonna go to the other public hearing. Public hearing related to the final plat approval request by Alex Gallardo on behalf of Celerino A Gallardo for Maxx Subdivision, a single-family subdivision, 3.65 acres in size, more or less, to be located in the southwest corner of Cesar Chavez and Madison Street, and proposing subdividing the property identified as APN 185-33005 into 16 lots ranging in size from 6,000 to 8,165.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. The item before you on the agenda is final plat case PLN 210016. This is a final plat approval request by Alex Gallardo on behalf of Celerino A Gallardo LLC for the final plat approval of the Maxx Subdivision. This is a proposed single-family subdivision located at the southwest corner of Cesar Chavez Avenue and Madison Street. It is currently vacant, or it's actually, yes, it's currently vacant. It was previously farm ground, but it is currently vacant. And the applicant is proposing to create a single-family subdivision with 16 lots at this location. Some project information here is this project was not required a neighborhood meeting actually because it didn't involve a change of zone or a general plan amendment, and it was already zoned for it. We did have our Planning and Zoning Commission hearing consider this item back on the 21st of June, and their recommendation was for approval with conditions. We did receive some feedback from some of the entities that we sent out for comment, and I can go over those later. You could go one more slide. Some factors we considered when reviewing this project was the project is in full compliance with the 2020 general plan. Its location along two major roads, adjacent land uses as well. It's surrounded to the east by identical uses as single-family residential. The land around it is zoned for single-family residential. It's already got the proper zoning. Utilities are readily available at the location. And same as another factor, same as the previous case, is there's a housing scarcity in Somerton. So this is going to bring 16 new single-family homes to the city of Somerton. And as mentioned, the Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend approval of this case. So tonight, staff's recommendation for this project is for approval with conditions. And would the council like me to go over the conditions of approval?
Are there any conditions that are not seen in this type of subdivisions? Or?
Actually, well, there's, if you can go one more slide, Andrea. We did a preliminary plat case for them last year, and all conditions 1 through 14 are previously existing conditions from the preliminary plat case. Those are all in place. The applicant will still have to comply for those. We just have 2 new additional conditions of approval for this case. And they are: number 1, the developer shall create a municipal improvement district for the perpetual maintenance and upkeep of streetlights, retention bases, and recreational areas, green spaces, pathways, landscaping as created as part of the Maxx Subdivision. Number 2, developer shall comply with all previously existing conditions of approval from the previous related preliminary plat case. So those are the only 2 new ones, Mr. Mayor.
Any questions or comments from council? Councilman Villalpando.
The only concern that I have is that they'll be tapping into a sewer that with a lift station that is servicing another subdivision. Whether there's capacity or not, I think it's irrelevant because you're tapping into an existing lift station that was designed for that other subdivision. We are in the process of building a large lift station that'll service that whole area. And we've already had an instance where we had to do some upgrades on the lift station in Valle del Sol for whatever reason. And I don't want to run into those issues down the road. So I do have an objection in regards of where they're going to connect to the sewer.
Mr. Palacios, was that analyzed?
Yes, actually, Mayor, we hired base engineering back in.
Sam, can you come to the podium, please?
Hi, Mayor, Councilmember Villalpando. We hired back in November 21st, 2019, we hired base engineering to analyze this proposal, and according to their technical memo, it shows that we have capacity on the sewer lift station and the force main.
So how did he analyze that? Did he give you any data in regards to that?
Correct. They took that
or
data
just
from
a report?
the report, but they took the data from the current master plan, the sewer master plan, with the flow that we have.
But did he actually sat there and measure the flow?
We have meters on the lift stations. We have flow meters on the lift stations.
Okay, this is back in 2019.
2019,
so
correct.
2 years. Has he given you an updated one?
No, because we don't have any new taps on that lift station. It's
yeah,
the
but
same.
You might have a lot more people living in these homes now. What they use about four per?
The lift station was calculated full of the development of those, meaning by Venecia, Veranda, and the Valley 2 and 3.
Yeah,
Las Haciendas and Barcas as well.
But have you gone to double check and make sure that the flow is actually currently still similar to 2019?
We can double check, council member, but like as I mentioned, the lift station is designed for the total full amount.
Okay, because so what happens if somebody else wants to tap into it?
It is already calculated. All the area from the discharge to the lift station has been calculated already. So we have capacity.
Yes, but the lift station was designed for that particular subdivision.
Correct. Not only one.
Okay.
To use for the different lifts, the different.
Whichever ones are connected to it.
Correct.
Yes. Okay.
Correct.
So now you're connecting something that wasn't even planned for, even though it might have capacity. So what happens if somebody else wants to build a subdivision? They say, hey, you know what? I don't want to pay you guys on the new lift station. Can I just go over there too?
No. Well, it's going to be analyzed, but the only thing this is just for 16 lots.
Exactly. We're going to be analyzing, and what you're doing is you're setting a precedence for other people to make the exact same request. And guess what? If there is just enough, we're going to have to let them.
Well, remember, we have a master plan. And the master plan shows a lift station depending on the area. The only reason that we allow them,
and he could tap into that one,
is because of that. But back in those days, we don't have any solid plans for the high school. Now we do have, and
I'm
to
not,
us, doesn't make any sense to request a lift station enforcement to 16 lots, basically.
it might not make financial sense to them either. But again, this lift station was designed for this particular subdivision. And you're missing the point that we're letting somebody outside of the subdivision tap into it. And now if somebody else wants to make the same request, if there is enough capacity, guess what? We're going to have to let them in until there isn't any more. And so what happens if family sizes all of a sudden start increasing? They go from 4 to 5, 6, then guess what? You don't have that capacity to withstand an increase in the household size, which I'm not an engineer. I haven't never designed a sewer, but from what little I know, it's not much, but they tend to oversize things a little bit just to give themselves that flexibility.
Correct.
Any other questions or comments? You done with this?
I am all done, Mr. Mayor. Yes.
Any member from the public wishing to comment on this item? Okay. It's another public hearing. Public hearing for the purpose of hearing taxpayers in favor or against the proposal of fiscal year 2021 City of Somerton budget.
Mayor and Council, from last week on our special meeting 2 weeks ago, you heard the preliminary budget, and now we're just waiting for information from the public for or against the proposed budget. Again, we did move some CIPs, but they're still there in the system. On our next meeting, which will be July 20th, it'll be the final approval with all the numbers in there in terms of where everything's at to a more balanced budget. This is just for or against for the public hearing.
Any questions from or comments from council? Any questions or comments?
Did you say the property tax?
No.
No.
Property tax.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Anybody from the public wishing to comment on this item? Okay. Gonna move to item public hearing 4, public hearing relating to the proposed fiscal year 2021-2022 primary property tax levy.
In front of you, you do have, Ms. Gallegos is going to come and speak, but you do have the levy limit worksheet with all the maximum allowed primary tax levy and assessed valuation as well.
Yes. Good evening, Mayor, council members. Before you is a calculation for the truth in taxation. From last year, our levy was $684,123. The increase between the levy this year for 2021 to from 2020 to 2021 is $43,011, and that's the maximum we are able to levy. The truth in taxation had not occurred since I believe it was 2018 or 2019, simply because construction had been such that the recording of construction had elevated our levy significantly. So we didn't really, the difference between the minimum and the maximum allowable was not significant enough for us to actually have a truth in taxation hearing. However, this year being that it is a $43,000 difference, I believe the amount is significant enough to where we should be going to the maximum.
Mayor, if you will, from last year, obviously nothing was done due to the pandemic. but from the previous year it was, and we were going to do it this past year, but again, because of the pandemic, it wasn't assessed.
And I actually sent Andrea a slide for you. This is the allocation of our property taxes for 2020. 2021 has not, the total rates have not been disclosed, so I don't have all those, but this is, I don't believe they will change significantly, as Yuma County also had a truth in taxation, as well as, and so the allocation, I believe, will remain about the same. So the City of Somerton, from the our current property taxes, the 12% of the assessed property tax comes back to the city. As you can see from the slide, the major portion of that goes to Yuma County and the elementary school district.
Any questions or comments from council?
I guess I'm the only one. I do have a question. Zarina.
Yes.
Have you been able to find out? I called and they didn't give me a straight answer, or basically, let me call you back. Mm-hmm. On the assessed value for this coming year. It's going to be done, I believe, September.
Yes. Well, we already have the bulk. So for the City of Somerton, we receive the total amount that is assessed for our area. And so we use the assessed value, not the the market value. It's really a matter of the process that the assessor has in place and as to how they go about and assess those properties. I'm sure there's a process and they have to follow statute. But I really...
And I was trying to get an idea if they were going to go up, because, I mean, let's face it, they are going to go up.
Yes.
In order to be able to make a decision here with $9 and change that per every 100,000 that we're asking for. And I am having a hard time. I know, just because if the assessed values go up, it's probably going to be a little bit more than the current assessed value.
Yes. So we already have the total assessed valuations all together for our area. So yes, it is going to go up as a result of the change, as well as the assessed valuation that they've already done. Mm-hmm. So with regards to each individual resident, that would just depend on when the last time that certain area was assessed by the assessor's office. I don't know if I answered your question. Maybe I made
no,
it more complicated.
It's a tough one, because I did get a call from originally, I don't know if you're aware of this, but way back in the day, like what was it, 2005 or something like that, mm-hmm. during the election. The purpose of the property tax was to fix all these streets that were horrible, and also for the public safety building. Correct. So if we are already charging enough money to offset those particular costs that were identified back then, it's always difficult for me to just simply sit here and say, oh yeah, just tax them some more. It's only $9.
Yeah. Well, to your point, I have allocated the debt services associated with the property tax. And so because over the last, I went back 5 years, and the property tax levy was not sufficient to cover those debt services. Now it is. I think we're a little over by 40,000. But if you take into account what we've paid in the debt service, the debt service, we're still trying to catch up by like 200,000. So those are numbers I can definitely provide for you so that you have a better understanding of how those are allocated. In fact, I believe I sent you the spreadsheet that had the property taxes associated with the debt services.
Well, I'm glad that you're able to explain it in that fashion, because I tell you what, I caught some heat from a member of the community saying, "Hey, wait a minute, you guys are going to raise them. This is what happened back then. You were around." So, with that being said, we don't necessarily have to go the full $9 per 100,000. Is there a lesser amount that you could possibly recommend that would be still sufficient in order to
pay? So let me see. Do you have that spreadsheet? I don't think it's on here. So if there is a lesser amount that I would recommend, I mean, it's either the full extent of the tax the maximum that we're allowed, or the minimum, which is the difference between those two is, so it's $697,591. That's it's a $43,000 difference. So if we don't raise the levy to the maximum amount, we would be losing those $43,000 in revenue. Having said that, right now for this fiscal year, it appears as though we are at a surplus when you take into account the property tax levy and the debt service. However, over the last 5 years, when we did have the levy each year, it wasn't sufficient to cover those debt services. So it had to come out of other funds from the general fund, which is like our sales tax, the sales tax from the state, et cetera, any other revenues to cover that deficit. So if I add those up, the surpluses and deficits, we are still at a deficit of about $221,000, if I remember correctly. So
in 5 years, we'd be able to recoup.
If we continue the maximum with the maximum levies, we'd be able to recover.
No, we stick with the one we're gonna do today.
If we stick with the one that
nice try.
Okay. Yes, if we stick with the amount of the levy we'll do today, we would be able to recover some of those funds. Yes.
In 5 years, roughly.
Actually, 4 to 5 years, actually. It might be a little less if we stick with this levy. You are correct, sir.
And when does the GATA loan, when is it paid off?
2026.
2026.
Mm-hmm. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. I apologize. It's July of 2026 is the last debt service payment. So it would be fiscal year 2027.
Okay, so
by 1 month, yes.
So for the next 5 years, no increases then.
So
got yourself a deal.
Right now, I do recommend the maximum, just because in order to recover that money from that debt service. However, once we recover all that, we would be able to keep it at a minimum.
The recommendation is the 6.17 that you have here.
Yes. That the 6.170 is the increase. The proposed property tax rate would be the 1.65.
And the debt payments are for the GATA loan, which was streets, and the public safety building.
Actually, I didn't include the public safety. It was the GATA, the EQ. So we would be at a
public safety was
part of the property tax.
Yeah.
So that would be a lot more than, because I didn't include that. I included the EQ. I forgot the acronym for that loan. There was another loan associated with, as well as the GATA and the public safety, but I didn't include the public safety. The public safety I allocated to the sales tax and the state shared revenues.
It might have been the $1 million ladder truck.
That's included. That is included. So that
comes up every year.
in the GATA loan, that The ladder truck was included on the public safety facility. I'm not actually allocating it to the property tax because if we did, the deficit would be a lot higher. I hope that makes sense. If not, like I said, I can send you a spreadsheet that has each of the debt services.
Yeah.
And this, Mayor, and this is obviously to catch up 4 or 5 years. But in essence, if council decides here within the next couple of years for different projects or another ladder or knowing that things are coming down the pipeline, it's might continue.
Yeah, and it should be included where what the taxpayers were told that was the debt service for the public safety building, and that GAT alone was at 8-9 million that was borrowed for a street. So, and if it shows a deficit, then it shows a deficit. Yeah. At least we know, and it makes it at least more transparent why this is happening. So, any other further comments or questions from the council?
Thank you.
Anybody from the public wishing to comment on this item? No, is there a motion to exit public hearing? So a motion by Councilwoman Garcia. Second by Councilman Roldan. Those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to old business. Okay. Discussion and possible action to approve the sale of city property located at 404 West Spring Street and R3 zoning residential lot, approximately 6,891 and 8 square feet, and a request for proposal submitted by Francisco and Alma Nidia Gonzalez.
Mayor and Council, the Gonzalez family agreed to pay the appraised value on our last meeting. It was discussed and it was tabled. This family obviously lives located just northwest of the subject parcel. Their intent is to build a new home within 2 years of the date of purchase. The city's public work agrees to remove asphalt and storm drain as discussed, giving a proper time of at least 3 months prior to them building. We are in the intent of making sure that they build within a 2-year period, and including not to sell within a 10-year period as well.
Any questions, comments?
Mayor, before we make a motion, I would like to request a letter from you, city manager, stating the total cost to the city by using city's employee manpower to remove the asphalt for the property mentioned.
Sure will. And including on that, we'll be able to use the property until such date they're going to start building. Because we do have to go back that we do have to cap that drain on there as well.
Okay. Is there a motion?
So move, Mayor.
So motion by Councilman Gonzalez. Second by Councilwoman Garcia. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to new business. Item number 1, discussion and possible action to approve a request by Ramon Arias on behalf of Nomar Properties and Pensco Trust for the rezoning of the following properties: 1401 North Somerton Avenue, 1415 North Somerton Avenue, 1431 North Somerton Avenue, and 1449 North Somerton Avenue.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The item before you on the agenda is the action portion of the case that I just went over previously. This is for the rezoning of the 4 parcels located at the southwest corner of Madison Street and Somerton Avenue. Could you open the presentation? Could you go to the second to last slide on that, please? There you go. So staff's recommendation is for approval with conditions. The conditions listed in Exhibit A that I went over previously. Does the council have any more questions for me at this point related to that case?
Any questions, comments? Councilman Villalpando.
I still stand by my traffic study requirement, quite honestly, Mayor. I mean, it's, the development has a potential of impacting that intersection. So.
Council has the ability to add another condition.
Can you please come to the podium?
Mr. Mayor and Council, Council has the ability to add another condition, and if the condition is, as Councilmember Villalpando mentioned, a traffic study, we can add that as a new condition to this development, if that may appease your concern.
Yes, that'll work for me.
Is there a motion?
So move with the traffic study. Yeah.
So motion by Councilman Villalpando.
I second that.
Second by
Wait, hold on, Mayor. I just want to clarify that.
adding condition for a traffic study.
But however, a traffic study might not be needed. So could the motion be a traffic study as needed? Otherwise, it looks like it's a condition that's going to
Your
stay.
motion, Councilman Villalpando.
Well, I'll leave it as the way I said it. I would like to traffic study just because, again, I could see those driveways being so close to the corners that it might impact it.
There's a motion by Councilman Villalpando. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
So second by Councilman Gonzalez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council.
Item number 2, discussion and possible action to approve final plat approval request by Alex Gallardo on behalf of Celerino A Gallardo for Maxx Subdivision, a single-family subdivision, 3.6 acres in size for more or less to be located on the southwest corner of Cesar Chavez Avenue and Madison Street, and proposed subdivision. The property identified as APN 185-3305 into 60 lots ranging in size from 6,000 to 8,165.
Mr. Mayor and Council, this is the action portion of the Maxx Subdivision Final Plat approval request I presented at the public hearing. Staff's recommendation for this case is for approval with conditions. Conditions listed in Exhibit D. Does the council have any questions for me at this point?
Any questions, comments?
Just my only concern, Mayor. The way it is written right now, it's my vote is a nay.
At least for me, just seeing that just 16 lots, I understand that that is really not the question of there's capacity, it's just the precedent, but being that we need additional residences and the impact is 16 lots, and to make the developer putting a lift station or do more when we have a registered engineer that analyzes the system, I am fine with it, but I'm going to entertain a motion. Is there a motion?
So move, Mayor.
There's a motion by Councilman Gonzalez.
Second. Is there maybe, you mentioned that you can, I guess, analyze.
It was analyzed. The point that Councilman is that we're setting a precedent.
In 2019, Sam, you mentioned that you could maybe analyze numbers now or no?
The whole system was analyzed, and the way it's designed, it's just a number that they use. I think it's 4.5 gallons per residence, and the design is such that it was analyzed for the complete system.
So realistically, when are they going to build it? Because we already put it out to bid. If they're going to wait 2-3 years to build it, by then the lift station should be up and running. I mean, why are we going to approve something that, I mean, I don't know their timeline. The timeline was never discussed. Either way, for me, it's a no, but I mean, I just thought about the timeline right now.
Can someone answer the question?
So, the applicant. Were you asking about the timeline, Councilmember Villalpando?
Yeah, because we're in the process of building that other lift station that's going to service that whole area. So why send and set that precedence to another subdivision when they could connect to that one? Is it ideal location for them? No, but I'm sorry, it's, again, I have an issue setting a precedence where other people can just request tapping into particular lift stations.
Mayor?
Yes.
The only thing, Councilmember Villalpando, is that the lift station will be completed, but as far as the service area up north, that's still unscheduled, as we haven't received any proposals for any future residentials on the north of that area.
But
so as far as that is concerned, it might take maybe 4 or 5 years.
But it has the capacity, right, to
The new one,
serve
yes,
that
it
area.
does. Yes, it does.
Yeah. I just feel the flexibility as far as where we're at as a city, that we don't have developable lots, and we gotta be flexible and this one, it doesn't impact. It's not like the issue with Valle del Sol, that was a major subdivision with more acres. This is a small subdivision that, if we look at the flexibility, it would be allowed for any developer if it's a small with low impact, a couple gallons of sewage, and the proper steps were taken as far as having a registered engineer analyze it. I'm not the engineer for City of Somerton, but I feel confident in Pace's abilities that the proper steps, at least engineering wise, it was followed, and
Well, engineering was followed over here in Valle del Sol, and they didn't find out the issues until they dug it up.
Was it followed?
We
never saw that. So
I don't want the red lines were inaccurate.
Yeah.
So again, if they're going to sit on it for 4, 5, 6 years, I mean, it just makes sense if you're calculating 4, 5, 6 years that there's going to be development and movement in that area, why not have them tap in? And I think, quite honestly, I'll be honest with you guys, I see a developer that probably wants to get away from having to pay their portion of that lift station. So they're putting additional stress, even though it might handle the capacity, into an existing lift station where it's not going to cost them anything.
Mr. Mayor and Council, if I may, in regards to your question about the timeline, the applicant has submitted the improvement plans already. So that's pending upon the approval of this tonight. We already have the improvement plans that are being reviewed by staff. As we did with the previous case, a condition of approval can be added with a specific time frame for the developer to start construction of the improvements of the subdivision, if that'll assist.
Oh no, I'm still gonna. I'm not one to set the precedent, but all I'm saying is that at least if you guys are going to allow it, at least put some time frames and that, because I would hate to see it stay the way it is for 5, 6 years, just so they don't have to pay.
Right, and it's understandable that if it sits there and the new lift station gets built and they're able to connect, then they should connect. But if they're between the time frame that the other lift station is not built yet, so they still have the ability to build those houses and sell it and have 16 additional lots or families in town.
Do you you want to amend your motion? You want to keep it?
I would like to amend that we should have some time frame with my motion. And what will you recommend, Carmen?
Well, typically, when we do the timeline, says a year or 2 years, nothing more than that, just because we spend quite some time between the improvement plan review, which is about what, 6 months to a year could be what we, and that's not because we delay it, it's because we have to go back and forth more than once with those improvement plans. So that will take probably 6 months to a year to get the improvement plans approved and ready to start the subdivision improvement. So anything between a year and 2 would be really good.
I like 2 years then.
There's a motion by Councilman Gonzalez.
And just to clarify, Mr. Gonzalez, would that be 2 years to begin construction of the improvements of the subdivision? Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So motion by Councilman Gonzalez.
Second.
Second by Councilman Roldan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
There's 1 nay. The motion carries.
Thank you.
Item number 3, discussion and possible action to approve the first reading by title only of ordinance number 2021-005, an ordinance of the mayor and city of Somerton, amending ordinance number 2015-002 and rezoning certain areas in the city for real property described herein as parcel number 743-38-151, 0.42 acre parcel more or less, and APN 743-38-149, 0.49 acre parcel more or less, and more particularly described in Exhibit 8 attached here too, from R16 to R3, and rezoning parcel number 743-38-141, 8.49 acre parcel more or less, and parcel number 743-38-147, 0.85 acre parcel more or less, more particularly described in Exhibit 8 here attached here too, from C2 to R3.
Mr. Mayor, this is the ordinance to approve the rezoning of the 4 parcels that you just approved in the previous item. And it's for the first reading by title only. So I believe you approve the motion to read by title only, and if you'd like, I can read it to the council out loud.
Go ahead. Your pleasure. Your pleasure. Well, let's approve it. Is there there's a motion by Councilman Villalpando.
Second.
Second by Councilman Gonzalez. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. This is ordinance number 2021-005, an ordinance of the City of Somerton, amending ordinance number 2015-002 and rezoning certain areas in the city for real property described herein as APN 743-38-151, a 0.42 acre parcel more or less, and APN 743-38-149, a 1.49 acre parcel more or less, and more particularly described on Exhibit A, attached hereto from R16 single family residential to R3 multifamily residential, and rezoning APN 743-38-148, a 0.049 acre parcel more or less, and APN 743-38-147, a 0.85 acre parcel more or less, and more particularly described on Exhibit A, attached hereto from C2 general commercial to R3 multifamily residential.
Is there a motion? So motion by Councilman Villalpando.
Second.
Second by Councilman Gonzalez. Those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, Council.
Item number 4, right? Yeah. Item number 4, discussion and possible action to approve resolution number 2021-008, a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Somerton approving the sale of real property located at 1362 West Main Street, Lot 1, Somerton, Yuma County, Arizona, to Sunset Community Health Center. a Yuma, Arizona nonprofit.
Mayor, on June 15th of 2021, City Council selected Sunset Community Health Proposal for lot number 1, 4.642 acres within the Parkview Commerce Center. The purpose of this meeting obviously is for the resolution with the sale of the land with the conditional use that when the lot is sold, it also will include the cost of infrastructure for the fair share.
Any questions, comments? Is there a motion to approve resolution number 2021-008?
So move, Mayor.
So motion by Councilman Gonzalez. Second by Councilwoman Garcia. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Discussion and possible action to appoint Alexis Leggett and Sergio Molina as new members of Somerton Parks and Rec Commission.
Mayor and Council, if you will, excuse me, Jesus, we would like to put Alexis Leggett on hold. We're recommending to only approve Sergio Molina until we get clear indication on the bylaws for Mrs. Leggett.
Okay. Mr. Mesa.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. This is Mesa, Parks and Recreation Director. Just want to mention that here present, Mr. Sergio Molina has been an active member of this community, very involved with basketball, athletics. He's been here in this community for a long time and wishes to be part of this commission. He could be a key element, a piece that we're missing that could be helpful for our programs. He's here if you wish to hear from him.
You wish to talk, Sergio?
Greetings and thank you, Mr. Mesa, for the kind words. I didn't grow up in this area. I grew up in Parker, 3 hours north, but my family moved here in 1989. I went to Arizona State University, graduated in 1996, and I've been living here since. And I am very vested in the community. I have 2 daughters here that have been going through school all their life in Somerton School District. And I don't come with a whole lot of experience per se, but I'm willing to learn. I have some life experience, and I'd like to learn from everybody in the commission and partake some ideas and try to do my best to help out in any way I can. And if anybody has any questions, let me know.
Thank you, Sergio. Any questions, comments from council?
Thank you for joining.
Sergio's the best basketball player here. Sorry,
Yeah,
Mr.
I know Sergio from my basketball days, so yeah, he's a good candidate. He'll do a good job there.
Is there a motion?
So second.
So motion by Councilman Villalpando, second by Councilman Gonzalez. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Sergio.
Thank you, Sergio.
Item number 6, discussion and possible action to approve a proposal for an art and wine event by Somerton Parks and Rec Commission.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. This is Master Parks and Recreation Director. Just want to mention that it was brought to my attention this previous council meeting in June by the Parks and Recreation Commission. They're very interested in promoting a unique event here in Somerton, something different for the community in the area of culture events. Here before us, the Commission Chair Francisco Vasquez is here and Commission Secretary Joanna Ezra with more information.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Francisco Vasquez, 406 West Fern Street, Somerton, Arizona. This idea has been actually revolving around more than a year now. Okay, planning and probably 2 years, around 2 years. And because due to the pandemic, we couldn't actually move forward. But I noticed that the city is now reopening, and I've been hearing nothing but good things. That look at the 4th of July event, how successful it was. Very crowded, the people was needed. So, and also the need to support arts is there. So we think having something like this will help us project an image that we do support art here. And also, we were discussing possible painters, folkloric dancer, local talent. I mean, everything that we can include, musicians that can also help us celebrate something like this, and then end the event with actually art and wine. And the people who were actually helping us with the Budweiser people, they say they have the expertise and help us guide us through the proper channels to make this event successful. They were telling us that the city of Phoenix is doing this with great success. Yuma is kind of following the city of Phoenix, and Somerton were like 10 years behind the city of Yuma. So I said, really? So probably we need to start promoting art a little bit more, a little bit stronger. And we have some little accomplishments. Paintings right here across City Hall. I saw a lot of people, willing, and they're asking, when are we gonna do this again? So there is I think the need is there, and we're willing to, and we're asking for your support to continue, and hopefully we can celebrate, say, Salud, and have this beautiful displays of art, and why not actually do some fundraising also for our need community. Joanna, I know you've been very into it. So.
No, I mean, we want to keep it short and sweet. And I think you just pretty much said everything, but we're really excited to launch this if we have your support. And yes, we can definitely have a good time raising money for our community and giving back. As you know, that's what we do as commissioners. We raise money, we give it back to the community. So we want to continue that. So this would be a good way to do that. Any questions?
Have you decided the venue yet?
We've been bouncing on ideas, but we didn't want to get all into it until we talk to you and make sure we have the approval.
Yeah,
We're planning on November.
Yeah, probably before the Tamal Festival, somewhere between the corn, what is it called? The corn festival and the Tamale Festival, somewhere between there. I think it's the best season, or after the Tamal Festival and the Pet Palooza event. So somewhere there, so we don't conflict with other. But we want to leave behind a signature, so something that can be done in a yearly basis. I still, you did something like this like 10 years ago.
I remember
wine tasting.
It was a wine tasting. Yes, I.
But that combined it with the art, I think that's a good.
So also, I was being told that if we actually invite the people that actually do these events, and they can even help us with some munchies and things like that. So when they're tasting the wine, they will say this food goes, or these appetizers, this food goes with this, and they're really eager to say, hey, it was time. So there's even I was approached last Sunday. I mean, I says, wow, are we gonna do this? And so really said, but right now it's in the agenda. Let's see. But I think we're in the right direction. I have seen your support, and I think we can make this a reality. I'm very happy to be part of the Parks and Recs Commission, and for the opportunity that my own colleagues have given me, supporting me, because I asked them the same question: is what do you think, guys? Do you think we need to move forward? And all of us, we were 100% yes, let's move forward. So kind of a unified front, and we just didn't want to break the quorum. That's why we are not three of us, but because we didn't announce that we were going to be here, all of us, because we didn't post that we were planning to be here all together.
Now it's 3 of you here.
Now there's 3 of us. Well, that was before. But that's the good news. That's basically it. Questions?
I just want to thank you and Cesare and now Sergio and the rest of the commissioners. I know there's been a lot of ups and downs and trying to get some volunteers to be part of the commission, but and you and I go way back when we first started the commission back in the 90s.
Yes.
And so I'm glad you're back in there and you have the experience and, on my behalf, and I know that the council as well, have the support, especially that you guys are doing something like she mentioned, we do some fundraising, give back to the community.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about, and also helping out Parks and Rec for whatever just to be done. But no, I thank you guys and praise you for what you're your time and what you're doing.
Just a little piece of info. In our last meeting, we actually donated close to $800 because the need is there. I mean, and I'm glad that we were in a much better financial situation than we were 2 years ago or 3 years ago. 2 or 3 years ago, we were like debating. I've been here for this long. Can you believe that? Time flies. Anyways, we were debating like, how much? $50 or $100 because we didn't have our budget was very extremely small. So my goal is, hey, we can reach $10,000 and so we can help more people. Let's have that as a kind of a long-term goal.
And we do have on a regular basis, we do have our community members coming to us on a regular basis, asking for donations, for example, tournaments or, competitions that are out of state. And, the parents are like trying all these ways to raise funds. And then they find out that we give this money, we donate this money, right? So they're like so appreciative and we've had nothing but wonderful experiences giving back. We want to continue.
Yes, and also we have some donors that they don't live precisely in the city of Somerton, but they are supporting the activities from the city of Somerton and the commission. For example, the owners of the Chinese restaurant, they donated money to the Parks and Recs, and they don't live here in Somerton. But I said, hey, thank you for believing on us and trusting us. And sometimes, we're getting like approached by, hey, how can, I guess the fact that we have 2 people now applying to be part of the commission, okay, speaks very highly. Well, 2 years ago, it was like really hard to get people involved. So as a council and commission, we must be doing something good to get to this point now.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Yes, go ahead.
We believe in strong mind and body, and we actually currently sponsor people out of state to do competition. We'd love to sponsor that event if the council allows us.
There you go. That will be great. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
You guys want to make a motion and approve that?
Seal the deal.
Yeah, for years we've been talking, we've been concentrating on sports, and it's good that we start seeing, we talk about it and our retreats, and it's good that someone took the lead and it's gonna,
it's the way that I see it is
art festival, because that's something that we've tried and for some reason we still haven't gotten off the ground. So hopefully it's successful.
I'm sorry, Mayor, for interrupting, but the way that I see it is kind of a paying back to our community, that they have given us so much and their support, and that's what we want to do is say, thank you in many ways. And yes, arts, support arts, and because there is local talented. Okay.
And we want to be inclusive of all talent.
Okay.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Yeah, I'll make the motion to approve the request.
So motion by Councilman Villalpando, second by Councilman Gonzalez, also in favor.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much. We'll see you in our next event.
Yes.
Thank you.
Summer current events.
Mayor, COVID-19 early warning continues to be a level 1 of concern, which is great, but we still need to be vigilant as COVID-19 new variant has been detected, obviously here in Arizona and actually here in Somerton as well. The 4th of July event has been a success. We estimate about close to 5,000 attendees were present. We want to thank the team, which is the events coordinator, Parks and Recreation, first responders, and Public Works for assisting. In addition, this morning we met with the events coordinator to discuss lessons learned and always looking on how to improve. And also, please, I want to make sure that everyone's aware that please look out for the Mayor's Minute here this week to discuss current and future projects. After the awarded of the ARP funds of $5.5 million. One great news, as many of you are aware, Yuma Union High School District / Somerton High School and Somerton School District have been approved for funding for this fiscal year. Mr. Gonzalez might have more information on that, but construction will start sometimes this fiscal year, very soon. Carmen Juarez.
Mayor and Council, before the construction of the new high school starts, we need to do a rezoning process. We started it last year and the high school district decided to table it. We have received a request for them to continue because now we need to have it the proper zoning in order for them to build the school. So we have the rezoning case going back to the Planning and Zoning Commission on July 19th. And after that is coming to council, the first meeting in August for final approval. So that will be for the rezoning, and then we're gonna start working on the actual construction plan reviews and whatnot. Also, the final draft of the land use assumptions and the infrastructure improvement plan will be presented to council on August 3rd during the regular meeting. It was supposed to be presented tonight, but we've been working with Public Works and the consulting firm. We've been doing some changes to the IIP, the infrastructure improvement plan. So it will be ready for August 3rd, so they can present it. Ben Griffin from Tischler Bice, thank you. Tischler Bice is coming down to do the presentation on that portion. After council approves this document, we're gonna come back at a later date with the actual new development impact fees for wastewater, streets, and public safety facility. So that's what we have in that effect. Also, Animal Control was working on the 4th of July event. They have reported a few calls and 2 transports to the Humane Society of Yuma. It was one aggressive dog and a dog who bit a person during the festival, the event. We want to thank you on behalf of Animal Control to all the residents of the city who ensured their pets were safely secured during this event. As every year we try. That's all I have. Thank you.
Mr. Palacios.
Mayor and Council, an update on the Cesar Chavez project. EPA's crew continues working on the intersection of Cesar Chavez and Main Street. They are installing a new wire on the new poles. Also an update on the Fulton and Council reconstruction project. New pavement was completed last week. And with this, the project will be completed by next week. And also an update on the Valley Vista Water Extension Project. We're waiting on ADQ and Yuma County to possibly get more funding for this project. There might be a possible good news. That is that ADQ may contribute with an extra $280,000. So that is very, very good news for us. We're waiting on them to just give them the final notice. And with this, we will be just need approximately 120,000 to complete this project. Thank you.
Ms. Gallegos.
Since Mr. Cabrera stole my thunder and informed you of the grant award from last week for the 5.5 million. We're actually working on the drawdowns. We are able to draw down on the grant currently. It's a matter of establishing the proper expenditures for the current fiscal year and reviewing the CFA to ensure that we are able to do it ahead of schedule. I'm also working on rolling over encumbrances, getting all the expenditure and budget adjustments for 2021 done and preparing the system for the 2022 budget update. There are also a couple of reports that I'm working on for the Auditor General, which, not the Auditor General, for Open Books, which includes the indebtedness report. That is due mid-September. And as of now, that's all I have.
Mr. Mesa.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Just want to advise that the Senior Center fundraised a total of $1,709.91 during the 4th of July celebration. It was a good turnout after expenses and all that. Also, tomorrow at Joe Munoz Park, we have the inauguration ceremony at 7 p.m. at Joe Munoz Court. We invited the tribe. City Council's attendance was requested, and we'll have the presence, of course, of our city manager and myself. It's going to be a simple ceremony, but something nice to inaugurate this and get the court open. Also, for this upcoming Thursday, July 8th, we have the open house meeting with local potential users. We invited skaters from around the community that typically join at different sites. It's going to be at 5:30 here at Council Chambers. And that's all I have.
We're going to have that at 6, right? Sales games at 6 on Thursday.
Thursday?
Yeah.
At 6? Yeah. We can reschedule.
Yeah. From missing the game right now, so don't tell me I'm recording it.
From the Chief of Police, the 4th of July event went well. We had multiple officers on detail. It was a very busy night. We had a couple of vehicle accidents and calls for service. The National Guard should be here to work with the police tomorrow. And we're also working on obtaining a free therapy dog. We're still working on the details of that. From Chief De Anda, they submitted for reimbursement of the AZGOHS of $30,000 for the Jaws of Life that we were awarded in the last grant cycle. Our next quarterly will be closing out this grant, which will qualify us to apply for our next year's round of grants. Battalion Chief Louis Carlos has been rounding up prices of the state contract for the next round of emergency relief funds grant that is issued via the Arizona Department of Emergency Management. This last round was swept up by approximately 8,000 of 12,000 available of Yuma County. This round will be applying for firefighter foam. They responded to a mutual aid request for a fire in Gadsden. I don't know if you heard that for today. Our arrival found 3 buses on fire and the 4th burning. Our firefighters used our air compressor foam for Squad 1's burn unit. Aggressive put out the partial burned bus, saving the other 6 buses that were parked in the same area. And that concludes department heads.
Councilwoman Garcia.
I'm working with the health department for our back to school vaccination, and they want to include with COVID any new vaccines for kinder or any child needing vaccines, because I know that at some point in, I don't remember if it's 6th or 7th grade, that they need an update on their vaccine. So the health department will be working with us and planning that for July 16th.
Councilman Villalpando.
The only thing that I have is congratulations to Lisa and everybody else that helped out on the 4th of July. It was pretty good considering that it was the first event coming out of COVID. So congratulations to all the staff that participated in it.
Councilman Gonzalez.
I'm just going to piggyback to Mr. Villalpando, but giving kudos to all staff that helped out for the 4th of July. Big kudos to Brisa. That was her first event and she pulled it out. And, there's areas that needs to work on, but there's a lot of positive things as well. Also, like Mr. Cabrera mentioned, the most exciting things that we have heard within the last weeks or 1 or 2 weeks, the funding of the $10.3 million for the early start of the Somerton High School. And there is no formal language yet for the second $10 million, nor is an increase for the cost of construction addressed on the last legislative meeting. And, us as a board member at the Human High School District, we have questions, but we're still moving forward. And although they have never stopped yet, also within the next weeks or so, I'm going to be part of some of the scheduled meetings that we have with the School Facilities Board leadership, which is Andy Tobin and Nick Lauper, to make sure that we proceed properly. And then in addition, since this is a new construction, we are planning to apply for the new construction allowance per square foot. But I will keep you guys advised on this issue. And I personally like to express thanks to Senator Kerr, who kept the Somerton High School initiative on the table and in the budget for this legislative session. And further, I would like to, Tim Dunn and Joel John and Joan Osborne, they have, the staff will continue to call our superintendent to research and support the Somerton High School. So kudos to all those people. I wish they were here to give them a round of applause, but that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilman Roldan.
Just on the Parks and Rec side, I think, the project of the AC units on that building since 2004, been working on that project and it's finally, done. So it's nice to see that. I think that's, especially with the swamp coolers for the summer, there's no use. So I think by adding that to that is going to have some value for that for any event that we want to do there. So thank you. And
every year it was being kicked
around.
Finally.
Every year, yeah.
Mr. Mayor, Mayor, I did have a council member report. If you want me to read for Juan Castillo.
Okay.
He just wanted to thank all staff for their hard work in planning and organizing the 4th of July event. What a great feeling to begin feeling some sort of sense of normalcy in our life. It's been a long year. I also want to inform council that Hector Sainz reached out to me and scheduled a meeting with me along with David Padilla, the union president. We met on Wednesday, June 30th at 6:30 p.m. Topic of discussion was our fire department wages. I stated to both Mr. Padilla and Mr. Sanz that council's priority has always been the comparative in wages to our neighborhood cities, even though we have a very limited budget when compared to our neighboring cities. Furthermore, I suggest to Mr. Padilla and Mr. Sanz to schedule a work session to discuss any concerns with our finance director, city manager, fire chief, and council. At the end of the day, we all have the same goal and want the same thing. Just need to work on the details. Mr. Padilla said that he would schedule a meeting, so I'm looking forward to it. That's all from Mr. Juan Castillo.
Okay. And I want to thank staff for the 4th of July. It was a great event. And I invite council members if they said that there was lessons learned or evaluation, if you have any comments on the ones that attended the event, feel free to let Mr. Cabrera know so he can relay that to staff. So I was out on vacation. I wasn't able to attend Forefronted, but city manager did attend. Were there any highlights there?
They did discuss some letters being sent, letters to Coco Palm. We did discuss to be part of Forefront, and also a letter was sent out to the re-election of Mr. Slip my mind. San Luis Sonora. Santos, yes. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Those were the highlights and future conferences as well. And obviously the mayor's bike race is October 23rd.
23rd, yeah. I need to train for that.
Buy your bicycles.
Now I know that there's special bike shorts, and I didn't know the first time. So I'm gonna go on Amazon and buy some. And I want to thank also Councilman Gonzalez for representing the city of our citizens for in the high school, and he's been keeping us informed of what has happened. So thank you. And on Thursday, there's a Greater Yuma Economic Development Commission meeting that I'm going to attend. So, and that's it. We have 2 items in executive session. Is there a motion to adjourn into executive session? So motion by Councilman Gonzalez, second by Councilman Roldano. Those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, opposed, motion carries. So we're gonna have a 5-minute break and then go into executive session. Right?